Should be good to go right now.
We live?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you say something? All right. It is Thursday. We're up 6 o'clock, right?
Sure.
I'm
Pretty
Dale.
Close. I'm Jonathan.
And you're watching
Straight Up Guy Talk.
All right, guys. Tonight's going to be a fun night. Like I said, every week we want to try to do something different to keep it interesting. So plug in, ask your questions. We're going to talk about some really cool knives, and then we're going to kind of apply that to some scripture and, take some notes. But, whatever it takes, share it, ask your buddies to watch and your wives or daughters. I mean, it's for everybody. We call it Straight Up Guy Talk, but, we want everybody to feel like they're, they can maybe get something out of this.
Yeah.
And so let's introduce Mr. Chad Shippey, my friend.
Hi.
And he's not nervous at all. Don't worry about it,
No, I'm
Chad.
good.
You're like front and center, man.
He's a man of many, many words.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, Andy. How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
So Chad's with us tonight, and he's brought all kinds of really cool stuff, and he's really going to I think we should just let you walk us through the process. And then you guys have any questions out there, or here we'll throw questions at you.
All right. So basically, there's a few different ways that a person can make knives. The way I started was just buying a knife blank online, so it was already shaped and everything, and just basically doing the fit and finish on it, building a handle or bolsters or anything to kind of finish it off, sharpen it, stuff like that. But and then I got into where you would just buy the steel, just a rectangle piece of steel, trace or draw your shape on it, cut it out with an angle grinder, and kind of grind it to shape.
So, dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
What you say? Just a piece of steel, like something specific?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, it definitely has to be a hardenable steel,
Okay.
and there's a lot of different kinds of hardenable steels, and they kind of all have their own.
give me some examples.
like-
I know nothing about this stuff.
Okay, so like this one here is 52-100, and 52-100 will get screaming sharp, just like, and hard, but it can be brittle. There's tougher steels, there's harder steels. There's no like perfect steel.
Okay.
Like so, some have just different traits. Batoning.
Batoning, I was thinking batoning, yeah.
For like a survival knife or something, like 5160 would be a good one because it's basically a spring steel, and 1095 is a spring steel, and 1095 is kind of a go-to. Like it's a good middle range for all the, all the different things.
I think most of mine, like knives like this that are 1095, they're pretty affordable. At 1095.
Yeah. 1095 is a fairly affordable steel as well.
Is the 5160, is that a more expensive steel?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, 5160 is pretty cheap. In fact, a lot of people will get leaf springs and make knives out of car leaf springs. Cool. The problem with some of that and using recycled material is that you don't know exactly what it is. I mean, it's probably pretty close to 5160, but it's not exactly.
Okay.
And the heat treat on all the different steels is different a little bit. They call it mystery steel if you're taking a drive shaft off a Sherman tank or something and trying to make a knife out of it.
So kind of like, I was watching Forged by Fire.
Forged and Fire.
Yeah, Forged and Fire the other day, and that was one of the things. They put a pile of just stuff and said, go find your knife metal. Mm-hmm. And they put a whole bunch together, and I was like, how do you know which one's which?
Yeah, they probably do just like a basic heat treat, and there's spark tests you can do. Some spark different than others, and there's a few things that you could get a pretty close guess, but not exactly. So I've kind of learned to just buy the right steel. I did make one of my first knives out of a disc off of an old farm equipment, off of a disc.
Cool.
And I worked it and got it heat treated, and then it just basically broke by just holding it. So
brittle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was really brittle, and of course it could have had micro cracks in it,
right.
That you can't see and stuff. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and I've kind of just like I don't make it out of recycled material anymore.
Right.
I buy known steel and buy it the right thickness and go from there.
Gotcha. You guys can't see it right now. You will in a little bit, but there's some really cool stuff on this table right now. Like, I am in my happy place.
No, yeah, this is cool. And I'm trying to, my computer's not really working with me here, so I'm trying to catch up with comments. I know I saw Mandy on there, and I saw Joe on there.
We got
What's
Bev
up,
and
guys?
Steve Garber. Hey, guys, thanks for
think
joining us. It's really
Heather's
cool.
on there, I thought.
Yep.
Mary, I think, might be on there.
Joe Hubbard said, God had to grind me into shape. I was a mess. That's great. I like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk
That's
about
really
stuff
cool.
like that, Joe. Get ready,
Yep.
buddy.
He
Yeah,
probably forged you into shape
He
more than
probably did.
grind.
He
Yeah.
probably did. Hey, honey.
So this is one of the first knives that I actually forged, and it out of a railroad spike, which is kind of medium carbon steel at best. They're not that great for making knives, but they're good for practice.
Okay.
Took a lot of heating and beating on that thing. My arm was throbbing, from trying to get it into shape, and it's pretty rough, but it is the shape of a knife, and it's got a lot of like dents and stuff in it. But
Right.
I keep these in my shop, so I'll always kind of remember that. And
Cool.
yeah,
That's very cool.
so
What's up, Bev? See you on there, Steven. What's up, guys?
let's see. There's some of the more recent knives that I've made. It's a survival type knife. And I recently learned how to electro etch my name on there, which this is my maker's mark, they call it.
Okay.
But that's actually in the steel. If you feel that,
Is it really?
that's like
Is it edged into it?
etched into it. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
It's pretty cool how it's done. Basically,
Right.
you have an electrode and you have some gauze wrapped around it
Okay.
and soak it in salt water, and then hook it up to a battery charger, like a 12-volt battery charger, and kind of just daub on there, and it'll sizzle and smoke and stuff like that. And well, you got to have your stencil on there first,
Okay.
obviously.
So how in the world, like, would you know, hey, let's get some gauze, let's get this, let's get this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, YouTube is how I
okay.
know. But,
Okay.
Good
but-
old YouTube.
Good
Huh?
on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, I've learned most of what I've learned on YouTube,
YouTube.
and forums and stuff like that. So,
Not school, not, but
Yeah,
YouTube.
right,
Gotcha.
right.
Gotcha.
Well, it's just something that I enjoyed doing from when
Yeah.
I first started, and I took it further and further and further, and tried obviously a lot.
I love this one,
Yeah,
man.
it's like
We're going to zoom in on that one.
a K-bar style that the Marine Corps had back in the probably World War II. So I wanted to make I always thought it was a really cool knife. I wanted to make a replica of that.
That's cool.
The leather stacked handle.
Right.
Here's kind of a recent one that I made. Just a hunting knife with a Coca-Cola handle.
Oh, the handle.
Yeah.
The wood handle. Cool.
Yeah. Some kitchen knives that I've kind of been working on forever. One for my wife.
Did she use it?
I've made her kitchen knives, yeah,
Very cool.
that she does use.
Very
but
cool.
so let's see.
Now, as far as like cleaning and taking care of them and stuff, what would you recommend?
Yeah, see, these are all high carbon steels. They're not stainless steels, which my wife wishes I would make stainless steel so she could put them in the dishwasher. But yeah, they will rust. They absolutely will rust if you leave them out in the moisture or put them in the dishwasher or
Right.
whatever. So yeah, keep them oiled, keep them dry, and if they do get a little surface rust on them, you can kind of sand them off.
This is what you did with the Damascus. What do you
Yeah.
anything different as far as taking care of it?
I actually bought the blank of, not the blank, I bought a piece of Damascus and basically ground it into steel. But this is a stainless and high carbon steel mixed together, which made kind of tricky to heat treat because stainless is a completely different animal. But I'd say no difference on, just keep it oiled. The stainless won't rust, the high carbon will. And so if it does ever rust, it'll have these cool lines in it, kind of like
Right.
it does now.
Okay.
Yeah. Messed around with Japanese blades one year for the auction. I made a katana, and I'd made this one for
Back up a little bit.
yeah.
It's a katana, and we're just going to swipe,
Yeah.
swipe it across me, man.
This would actually be considered a wagazashi or a tanto. There's kind of some different size,
Okay.
but like a baby katana. And I had to hollow out the sheath. I can't think of
Is it one piece or is it two?
the Japanese word. No, it's actually two pieces, but I had to make the tool, actually, the chisel, to groove it out, and the handle's the same way.
Okay.
And so it fits right in there.
Right in there.
Tight.
So how long, what do you say, how many hours would you have in that hole from start to finish, would you guess?
Yeah, it's hard to say, because one of the good things about knife making is that you can kind of work on it 20 minutes at a time or whatever, and which is why I like the hobby, because I don't have a lot of time a lot of times.
Right.
And
Okay.
but I'd say total hours on something like this with the sheath and all, I don't know, 10 to 15 or something maybe. Let's see. And here's one that I kind of, well, I showed you the railroad spike knife. That's when I first kind of tried to forge, and I had a charcoal forge, which is again a different animal, and it's hard to get it hot enough, and you're constantly putting it back in the fire, but then I got a propane forge, and that's a lot
More
easier.
convenient.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
more convenient. It gets hotter faster, stays hotter longer,
Right.
everything. And so I kind of got back into forging. Most of these knives I made were just what they call stock removal, where you just buy it the right thickness, you cut it out and shape it, you know, from there, which can be a lot faster, but you know, and then I make all the different kinds and shapes and sizes of knives that I want, and now I've got a bunch of knives laying around, and, you know.
That's a bad thing?
Well, you know, I give them
My wife would say so. My
Right.
wife would say, you have too many knives. And
Right.
now I'm looking at the table going, honey, I don't have nearly enough knives.
Yeah, well, and these are just some of them that I brought. I still have a lot at home, you
Right.
know, and a lot of them are just not even good enough to show. So these are, I wanted to kind of look at them in process too. And I didn't really even say when I had the kitchen knives out, these are not done. These are, I've glued the
handles on?
the handle scales on.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got to drill them out, put the pins in, and then shape the handles. So this is not my quality of work. These are unfinished. Anyway, back to the one I started forging again, and this is one that I've kind of started back on, and so kind of some of the new style too is to have some of the forge marks showing.
Okay.
I mean, not as bad as this, but
Right.
so so I started again, and then there wasn't quite enough forge marks, and then so I tried to make my own, and
Right.
anyway, try to do different things to see what looks cool and what what I like, and
Very cool.
Well, that's the cool part, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
The way you want it.
right.
You know?
Well, and I figure if I like it, probably other people are gonna like it too. You know,
biggest
so,
critic, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I know the flaws in all these knives, and I can pick them out. This is one that my wife says is an angry knife.
That's a
Karambit.
karambit.
Yeah,
Yep,
karambit.
I've seen those. I just
Kind of
never-
Angry. I love the way
almost
she
like a eagle
explains
claw
different
or
things.
something.
Right.
She's great at that.
yeah, it's an angry knife, and it's held like this.
Okay.
And it is a fighting knife, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make one, and
Right.
they're actually pretty hard. Grinding this inside curve here is really difficult.
Okay.
So anyway, that's still in progress.
very cool.
Some of the handle material like this is micarta, which is basically cloth of any sort and epoxy resin mixed together, and you stack layers of epoxy and cloth and squish it down and clamp it, and it's a really durable material.
Now they're usually more expensive on knives, aren't they? Just a little bit. You get a micarta
yeah.
handle versus
Right.
just
I don't
same-
really know because I haven't bought any knives in a
Right.
long time.
Like I make them all.
Right, right. But it's a pretty cool material. And I've made my own micarta before. It's not as good as this, but
Okay.
but then also when you sand this off to shape your handle, this is orange and black stacked.
Right.
So you'll see those grains of orange and black, and so
That's
it,
cool.
it looks really cool. I
That's
wish
cool.
I had one here that had that, but. And then this baby, this is a Kukri, and I think it's the official military knife of Nepal. but I just
Nice.
thought they looked really cool.
That's
and
cool.
so
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
this thing may or may not end up in the JCCA auction this year. So,
Woo!
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool, man. Anybody comes up to you, they'll definitely head the other way if you pull that
Yeah.
bad boy out.
Yeah.
Cool.
that'd
So,
be an
man, there's some
investment.
super cool knives on this table, man. Like, I mean, that, like you said, how many hours did you say that first one? Yes, that one took.
Wagazashi, I don't know, probably 10 or 15
Okay.
hours. But like I said, I work on them 20 minutes at a time or
Right.
or whatever, and it may have been more like 20 hours.
Right.
I just
All
don't
together,
ever keep track.
what do you? How many hours do you have on the table? I mean, just all the
Oh.
things you showed. Like, how many hours you got?
Oh man, it would be hard to say.
Okay.
Yeah, it really would.
What I think's cool is like, there's a historical aspect that you appreciate. Like when you talk about it, you know what they are, you
Right.
know how they're used.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool. You know, a lot of times, like, I won't say ladies, but why do you like that stuff? Why do you, whether it's cars or whether it's
Right.
knives or whether it's guns, and it's because of the history behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and there's just something about it that draws us to it. So I think it's really cool that, you know, you're making them. And again, you know a lot of the history behind it.
Right. Yeah, I love historical knives, and I'm not like really before this. I was not a big knife person. To me, this is more art
Right.
than anything. And I always loved art, but I couldn't draw, and I couldn't do most art things or paint or anything like
Right.
that. But this is my artistic thing, and I just love doing it.
That's cool. That's very cool, man.
Well, you're a busy dude, you know, and
Yeah.
you need to be able to get away from, you know, by yourself, you know, for
Yeah.
a little bit and,
Yeah.
and do something.
Do man stuff.
I was gonna say do man stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
Okay, Joe has a question for you, and it's what's the strangest thing that you've made a knife out of?
Oh, I don't know about strangest, but I mean, I've done some antler. That katana had a buffalo horn fitting on it that I had to kind of special order
Right.
from Japan. But
Okay.
yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. But
Very cool. Very cool. So I'll just be straight up with you guys. I got about 14% on my phone, which means it's going to die pretty quick. I had quite a bit when we started, but man, we're at like 16 minutes right now, so it's really
Yeah,
cool.
we're rolling pretty good.
We are
Christina-
going to go a little shorter than we did last week. We're not going 42 minutes.
Christina said no new knives.
I
dude.
know. I saw that. I tried to ignore it.
No, I'm reading it. I'm calling.
I
Right there
tried
it
to
is.
ignore it. You know, if you don't see it, it's not there.
It's not there,
Type of thing.
okay.
You know. But man,
let's-
thank you. Like these are really cool.
I just enjoy doing it.
And you don't sell these, right?
Well, I have before.
Okay.
I donated a couple to auctions.
Right.
I did actually did my first custom one for a guy who wanted a hunting knife for his grandson, and
Cool.
I made
That's
one
cool.
the other day for
That's
that.
really
But-
cool.
And maybe I will. What I really don't want is another business or anything that's
Yeah.
going to put any undue
Right.
stress on me, because
Right.
this is my stress relief.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool, man.
Well, I want to point something out. I'm thinking of it. All right, this is episode 2 of what?
Straight up guy
You got to
talk.
think about it. I'm just kidding.
I was like, where are we at?
You are officially our very first
Interview.
guest and
Oh,
interview,
wow.
dude.
Wow.
So you are like number one,
I
man.
feel very
Are you feeling
fortunate.
honored?
Yeah,
You should
I
feel
really
honored.
am. Yeah.
You know, Yes, I just want to point that out. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm
That's
like,
really
this is our first interview,
That's
man.
really cool.
So,
That's really cool.
Glad
It's good
to,
stuff,
glad to
but
be
man,
it for
let's-
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's jump into a biblical aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, John and Randall, you guys. I mean, there's a lot of verses we could go
Right.
to, but
They kind of hit the main ones that
they
we
did
were,
it.
we were
Proverbs
even talking about.
27. You know, iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's ask Chad first. What's that mean to you?
Well, I mean, you have to have a hardened steel to even make steel. I mean, before we had belt grinders and stuff like that, like they made them out of, hardened files and stuff. And so, as far as the practical meaning of it,
Sure.
and that's what they understood back then too. But of course, with us spiritually, we have to like keep each other kind of in check and
Yeah.
sharpen each other basically.
Well, that's the only, back, whatever, years ago, that's the only way you're going to sharpen them, right?
Right.
You had to go iron versus iron.
Yeah.
And, for me, I'll just say, quick, and Jonathan, we'll get what you think, but, it's friendship, and it's accountability.
Yep.
You know, in that friendship, you know, if I see you doing something and you see me doing something or whatever, we have built that trust because of all that time together as friends that we can hold each other accountable and not lose our friendship.
Well, and I think that when I think iron sharpens iron, I think sometimes when iron sharpens iron, you get sparks.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't be afraid. Don't shy away from having somebody else sharpen you or you sharpening somebody, because there's going to be times that you're going to get sparks and go, okay, there's some tension here, you know, but it's for my good and it's for your good and it's for your good, that we sharpen each other so that we are a ready, you know, tool that is valuable to the kingdom. And I think we got to be sharp, guys. We got to be ready to cut down the lies of the devil, you know what I mean?
Joe says iron can't sharpen iron without friction. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
Absolutely,
you mentioned sparks. To me, I also see motivation in that. You know, is two guys are hammering something out, or you know, maybe guys got a call. There's going to be sparks, but it's also maybe a positive thing. You know, where it's like, hey, it clicked, or you know, and that's what it's about.
It's about needing each other. It really is. It's about doing life together. It's about not being alone. If you're going through life alone and you're getting worn out by the things of the world and work and all these things, and you're a dull blade, and you need to be sharpened again. You need to be sharpened so that you can be used better and more effectively.
Well, even this is an example. Like, you could be up here by yourself, or I could be by myself. You know, and that'd be cool.
Yeah,
it's a lot more fun when we're doing it together.
Yeah, it is.
You know, then we ask Chad to come up.
Now it's, you know, what is it, three strand cord, or you know, stronger than two. You know, you can.
You know, but in a way, and you know, you can speak maybe to it, Chad, too. It's like, you know, you're stretching yourself tonight a little bit by what we're doing.
Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah, it's like my comfortability. Yeah, definitely.
So you're getting hit on both sides, man.
Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, it's for
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right.
It's for the good of the kingdom.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Sometimes we got to step out of our comfort zone, definitely, to for the good of the kingdom. So.
You do. You do.
Absolutely.
So any quick questions? I'm got about 7% on my phone, but you know, we're at probably 21 minutes. So that's a really good time. Any questions for us that we want to keep on answering just for a few minutes until my power goes off?
Any other
You know?
scripture or anything that maybe you guys may have thought of?
We'll give just a minute or two to look at some comments. And
Jesus once said to sell your cloak and buy
did.
a sword.
He sure did.
There you go.
That, man, that's an episode in itself right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
That's
it
an
is.
entire episode.
Yes, it is.
My wife says Three Musketeers.
Yeah,
so,
we're Three Musketeers.
so, honey, are you saying that he needs to just like
Be permanent.
be permanent? You know, his family of, you know, what do you have, like 25 kids?
32.
You know, 32.
Yeah.
They might miss you, you know? So
They do. And you got to try to balance, you know,
Right.
family and farm and JCCA and,
Yeah.
you know, Shippy Electric
Yep,
and,
yep.
Well, I mean, I know
knife
when you
making
told
time.
your wife that you're going to hang out with us two guys, she's like, you know,
Yeah, she was all right.
we
She was
know,
all right.
man.
Yeah,
we have pretty awesome wives. So
We do.
we do.
We have
We're
pretty
all
amazing
blessed.
wives, guys.
Very
Joe says
very
you're doing
blessed.
great, Chad, so there you go.
Oh, thanks.
Bev says
Beth says agreed, Christina. Three Musketeers.
So now we got to figure out who, D'Artagnan. And
Oh, man.
That's the one everybody
Yeah.
knows.
See, I was going to, like, you know, Peter, James, and John, you
Right,
know, type
yeah,
of
the
Jesus.
Three
Jesus is Three
Musketeers.
Musketeers.
I like that.
You know?
All right, well, yeah,
I would
good
definitely
calls
be Peter because, you know, he's the guy that cut off the ear, and Jesus is like, whoa, 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 stop, like,
Yeah.
chill out.
Slow down
Now
a
I have to
little bit.
correct what you just did. You know, back up a little bit. So, man, what a good night. You know, thank you guys for joining us. Chad, thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for having me.
Some cool stuff that I'm going to steal and throw in my backpack before we go home.
I would know this probably.
Okay,
So.
all right. Well, what I loved is when he came in tonight, he literally had, where's it at? Where's it at?
Here you go.
That's under
So
the
I was thinking, you know, okay, he's gonna have like these knife boxes, and then he comes in
have
with
a knife box.
this.
It's a fire extinguisher box.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Got a good kick out of that. So just a whole box full of knives.
That's perfect,
A
man.
man from my own heart, man. So,
It's a box. It works, right?
That's
That's what
right.
it's made for.
Yeah.
That's
we're
right.
simple. Yeah, we're pretty simple.
So anyway, Machudo, Machudo wants a shout out too. That you may not know, you may know in the future. We might have him on in the future. He builds these box drums that are awesome too. He's amazing at his craft. Actually, Machudo, your box drum is holding up our camera right now,
It's multiple.
or our microphone right now. So
multi-purpose, right?
multi-purpose studio,
Yeah.
right? So, but man, seriously, thank you guys for joining us. Chad, thank you for joining us. You know, we look forward to next week, and we don't know what we're gonna do next week.
No, we don't.
It could be you. You know, who knows?
Yeah,
So
we'll play next week by ear.
we will definitely play by ear. So, man, we love you guys. Allow others to sharpen you. Allow others to pour into you and be a part of your life.
That's it. You find somebody that that you can do this life with, and you got each other's backs.
Right.
You know?
And it's not always the person that agrees with everything that you
Absolutely.
say too.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
key. You know, I mean, we've had our just disagreements and
Yeah.
point of view, but
Yeah.
there's a respect there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really what
We
it's
actually just
about.
had that conversation this morning
Mhm.
about, we can come in and I can say, you know what, I wholeheartedly disagree with this decision, but I'm all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we know each other's hearts.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun. So this
So-
is awesome.
absolutely.
Definitely appreciate you guys watching. Throw some comments, any suggestions. I mean, the cool thing about this is there's really no
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
We don't plan anything.
Right.
We don't script anything. We just show up and
Steve Garber just said, I don't like being dull. And, if you've got to have your guys, Steve. You've got to find your guys to surround yourself with so that you can become sharp. We all need other men in our life to pour into us and to sharpen us. So I want to encourage you to do that. But
good stuff, guys.
right.
This is Mr. Chad Shippey.
that's Chad.
Thanks
I'm
for having
Dale.
me.
I'm Jonathan, and you're watching. Come on.
Straight
Straight up
Straight
guy
up
talk.
talk.